Tornado emergency in South Oklahoma City metro area. At 6:57 p.m. Central Daylight Time, a large tornado was moving along Interstate 44 west of Newcastle. On its present path, this large damaging tornado will enter southwest sections of the Oklahoma City metro area between 7:15 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. Persons in Moore and South Oklahoma City should take immediate tornado precautions. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. If you are in the path of this large and destructive tornado, take cover immediately.
Riders on the storm, riders on the storm. Into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown. Like a dog without a bone, and actor out alone. Riders on the storm.
I was working for OG&E in their corporate headquarters downtown, but we have a spring golf league there, and so you'd play against other teams one night a week after work, actually one afternoon a week after work. It was a bright sunny day, and we were actually down at Trosper Golf Course, a couple miles east of I-35. And we were on the golf course, and it was a bright sunny day, blue sky. We weren't aware of any tornado warnings or anything, and we were about as far away from the clubhouse as you can get. And all of a sudden the marshals come running out there and said, "You have to go in." We said, "Why?" We look around, we don't see any storms or lightning or anything. They said there's a massive tornado headed right toward us.
I guess probably the thing that really struck me was probably it took about 2 weeks before they would open the main thoroughfares, get the roads cleared, power lines, everything out of the way, and you could actually drive. And when you drive around, there's so many trees and buildings, you can't see very far. You see down the middle of the road, but you don't see through across land. And it was just amazing how everything was leveled, completely leveled and swept clean in its path. And you could look completely through a subdivision that would have houses and trees and everything, and you could just see the next road, half a mile away. So it was just incredible. And it really woke me up to the power that those can have. And very, very short notice, it just, when all the ingredients are right, it can whip up a storm that will destroy everything in its path.
May 3rd. 1999 became one of the most historic days in storm history. It produced one of the strongest tornadoes and had the fastest winds ever recorded on the planet. On May 2nd, 1999, a strong area of low pressure moved out of the Rocky Mountains and flowed into the high plains, which produced a lot of scattered showers and 10 tornadoes in Nebraska. As these storms began to move, the atmosphere began to weaken more and more. Storms began to pop up in Texas and Kansas. These storms began to become very favorable for tornadic activity as they began to mature. Over the next 48 hours, from May 3rd to May 4th, 116 tornadoes touched down in the central United States. This low-pressure area produced 26 more tornadoes from May 5th to May 8th. The entire area of Tornado Alley was in the dead zone for perfect conditions for extremely violent tornadoes.
As well as I remember, it was a nice morning. But we had been warned for several days before. People like Gary England and the other weathermen that we were expecting severe weather. We just didn't know how severe. Of course, in Oklahoma, I mean, it can go from nothing to something really quick. And in the afternoon, it did.
The morning of May 3rd in Oklahoma had temperatures that ranged from the mid to upper 60s. The National Weather Service in Norman initially issued a slight risk for severe weather in Oklahoma, including large hail and a potential for tornadoes. By around lunchtime, the low cloud cover had dissipated entirely. This sun with the low 60s dew point created a large amount of moisture that quickly went into the already unstable air mass. The air balloon that was in the sky at the time started to detect strong wind shear, which could cool the atmospheric temperatures. This created very strong levels of CAPE, which exceeded 4,000. CAPE levels like this are very favorable for strong tornadoes. Meteorologists had realized that the computers had several errors that were underpredicting the conditions and ingredients for tornadoes. The National Weather Service began to notice these dramatic changes and increased the severe weather risk from a slight to a moderate at 11:15 a.m. The air quality was still getting weaker and CAPE levels continued to rise. It was still getting stronger. The moderate risk was upgraded to a high risk for severe weather at 3:49 p.m. So many supercells had formed across the Central Plains that 74 tornado warnings had been issued on May 3rd alone. At around 4 p.m., News 9's meteorologist at the time, Gary England, had stepped outside the studio to get a feel for the conditions. The humidity combined with the relative heat warned him that something bad was going to happen. It was almost familiar to Gary. The smell, the sun barely peeking through the clouds. It reminded Gary of the 1974 Doomright tornado outbreak. Gary walked back inside the studio and announced to everyone, "We're going priority 1. The entire staff knew exactly what it meant and that the worst was yet to come. Priority 1 is a meteorological term used for high-risk and urgent severe weather situations. As this was going on, small pop-up storms directly south of Lawton began to form and would begin moving northeast at a measly 25 miles per hour. This storm would continue to build and would produce rotation after 30 minutes of its formation. This rotation would create 2 F0 tornadoes. Just before 5 p.m., tornado warnings lit up across Grady, Comanche, and Caddo counties. At 5:20, the first F3 tornado touched down near Anadarko, shredding a 2-story home and injuring its occupants. 10 minutes later, another F3 tore into nearby homes, leaving trails of destruction.
Steve Carano, go ahead. Yes.
Yes. Damage at the airport. Damage at the airport, Mike. It went right in front of me on Highway 81.
But it was a long, very, very long tracking. They form, they rip everything in pieces, they go back up, and then another one pops down.
about a mile or two east of me.
The supercell was relentless. At the Chickasha Municipal Airport, a narrow but vicious funnel ripped through a hangar, scattering 2 planes like toys. Despite its slim shape, it carried a terrifyingly strong core. In the fields beyond, the earth itself was scarred, soil ripped from the ground in patches of raw dirt and asphalt stripped from the roads. This is known as ground scouring.
When we started watching the weathermen, they immediately pinpointed where there was the hook on the storm, which is, of course, an indicator that there's a possible circulation, and that was down southwest of Bridge Creek. And so they were tracking it, and it became obvious because storms normally like that move from southwest to northeast in a pretty straight line. One exception was the El Reno tornado that made a right-hand turn and killed 3 storm chasers. But this one remained pretty true on track.
Then the storm mutated again. The funnel shrank, lifted, and slammed back down southwest of Amber. Under the I-44 overpass, storm chaser Mike Duncan filmed an unsettling sight. Not a single rotation, but the entire sky turning like a colossal grinding machine.
It looks like it's gonna go that way. Go get the handheld phone. Go get the little weather card under my visor.
Just north of the storm's churning winds, David Payne watched in disbelief as the funnel ballooned wider and wider.
We're just about 1/8 of a mile east of Amber, and over my shoulder now the tornado coming to the ground again. And what you're looking at there is a violent, rapidly rotating tornado, estimated width there about 1/8 to maybe 1/4 of a mile wide. And again, winds in there approaching 200 miles an hour. Where we are, we have winds flowing into the tornado right now at about 70 to 80 miles an hour. But again, here it is. It's getting bigger. Over my shoulder, we're going to 1/4 to 1/2 mile wide tornado now on the ground, south and east of Amber here, about a mile and a half.
And directly in its path was the small town of Bridge Creek, about to be swallowed by the strongest winds on Earth. It would leave nothing but the remains of homes and their owners' bodies.
Laura, truck. Call Chuck.
The tornado continued, with the storm moving northeast at approximately 24 miles per hour. All of the homes in the area were very poor and were made up of mostly mobile homes. Virtually nothing had remained.
Half a mile south of the tornado, we're getting wind gusts of 60.
From what direction?
I see a large piece of debris flying through the air about 200 yards to our north.
What direction are your winds?
Even though it was on the ground for only a few minutes at the time, its winds exceeded 200 miles per hour. It is fast, and it got stronger with almost everything it destroyed.
Things rotating. So is it on I-44 yet?
Well, Gary, it's very close to I-40. So I'd say within a quarter of a mile.
As the tornado left Amber, he was heading straight for a small town known as Bridge Creek.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Now as you folks watch this thing now, as you watch this, keep in mind, Brady, we need
to call Val back. It started, like I said, south of Bridge Creek, and then went through Bridge Creek and took out the whole place, just about, from what I remember. There was just damage everywhere.
In Caddo County. And we do want to reiterate for the folks in Oklahoma County that it does appear that it'll stay south of South 89th Street, but Norman, Moore, and Newcastle, you are in immediate danger. Mike Duncan, our forewarn units, live with the visual of the tornado. Mike?
Mike, we are still on H.E. Bailey, about mile 102. There is a rain of debris coming down. Insulation.
As the tornado approached Bridge Creek, it reached its peak winds. Every home was leveled within a mile radius.
High rates of speed. Tornado is still on the west side of H.E. Bailey, about a quarter mile from the highway, and moving to the northeast. But it's getting very dark where we are, and there is probably going through Highway 62 here. The street lights are out.
One home in particular was the Crago family home. Aaliyah Crago, just 10 months old, was ripped from her mother's arms as it passed right over their home.
The circulation is right in here at the toll booth. This is Interstate 44. It is moving right along the highway. The circulation is 6 miles across.
Aaliyah was thrown a few hundred feet from their home and was found caked in mud a few hours later. Grady County Sheriff Robert Jolly was patrolling nearby and found her. Sadly, Aaliyah's grandmother, Catherine Crago, who was in the same home, lost her life.
Just coming off the turnpike right now, I saw some big power flashes within the tornado earlier, just a while ago.
Okay. Let's go to
we were able to see some of the film of the tornado as it came in on television. And it was a monster. You could just tell it was a monster.
Track Ranger 9, long track, deadly tornado. Talk to me, Val.
Oh man, this thing is probably the south edge of the circulation is a half mile or less north of us, and that circulation is very, very strong. I don't think I've ever seen one that big before.
And in fact, we found out after that the National Weather Service, I believe is who it was, had deployed 3 mobile Doppler radar trucks. And they were able to surround the tornado because they knew where it was going and take readings on it. And found out that it was the fastest wind speed ever measured on the planet.
Right up Interstate 40. Right up Interstate 40. Interstate 44. From the Interstate 44, there's a toll booth coming up southwest of Oklahoma City. It has left an incredible trail of damage. It continues to be a very intense, possibly deadly tornado. You need to be below ground shelter. Below ground shelter is what you need at this particular time. And I'm going to zoom in here and let's go back to XL. And I'll tell you, this is I-44 right here. And we're going just a little bit closer. Okay? Southwest 144. The circulation actually starts up in here, drops all the way down into Newcastle proper. So move it northeast. Looks like to me it's headed directly toward you folks and more. Right in here is South Pennsylvania Avenue. You see my cursor move just a little bit. This is Southwest 134th right there. This is South May. This is South Portland. This is South Meridian. This is MacArthur Boulevard. So this is a very significant tornado.
Probably going through
Highway 62 here. The street lights are out, Highway 62, and it is going to be north, right along the turnpike, Mike, north of downtown Newcastle.
Okay, Steve Toronto, what's your exact location right now and exactly where's the tornado?
Highway 62. It's going to cross Highway 62 on the northwest side of Newcastle, the northwest side of Newcastle. The northern extent of Newcastle, you folks need to take cover. All of Highway 62 here, all the power is pretty much gone. It's off. So be careful with that. So it's going to cross Highway 62 and come into the southwest side of the metro, Mike.
It was just, and it was a mile wide. So we just had to be glued to the television and just watch the proceedings. We knew it wasn't going to be any place close to us, so we just stayed at the house.
Multi-vortex, wow. Multi-vortex, Mike, as it's going through the northwest side of Newcastle. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, I may have to stop, Mike. Hang on.
Beneath the 16th Street overpass on Interstate 40, Kathleen Watson, her son Levi, and a biker named Kevin Weber huddled between the steel I-beams, seeking shelter as the tornado approached. At first, the storm appeared to be tracking northeast and would pass by them. Then, without warning, the tornado veered sharply left and roared directly over the overpass. The trio had little room to take cover. Weber's leg remained exposed, and a highway sign torn loose by the wind struck him, slicing deep enough to ricochet off the bone. For a brief moment, the winds eased as they were pulled into the tornado's calm center. Levi turned to his mother and asked, "Are we going to die?" Kathleen reassured him, and together they recited scripture before the winds surged again. As the tornado intensified, it began to pull both mother and son upward. Holding him tightly, Kathleen told Levi she loved him and urged him to close his eyes. Her body was later found in a field roughly 100 yards away.
Looks like a man or a lady covered in mud. These people look to be injured from the tornado.
Van, and I had it parked over there by the underpass, and this is where it got to.
My God. Whose van is that?
Mine.
Oh, man, you were...
It hit, man. It hit right on us. We had both
Where were you guys?
Underneath the underpass.
Were you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We had to hang on both hands. Some little kid up there's mom's down.
You see things that you don't expect to see. You know, it's just unbelievable destruction, and it's just wind. It's just wind whirling around. That's it. So, but I think I saw a photograph in the newspaper afterwards that they found a pickup truck that the winds had wrapped it completely around a tree. It was in a U. You could see the front bumper, like the headlights and a beat up grill, and you could see the back bumper and the tag. And you look at that and you go, what does that take? What kind of wind does it take to wrap a truck, steel frame truck, around a tree?
Again on FM, in case the television goes out and you lose power, FM 104.1 and also on AM on 1520. David,
as the tornado left Bridge Creek, it skated along I-44 before crossing right over it just north of Newcastle. The wedge tornado tightened up into a stovepipe, being roughly an eighth to a quarter of a mile wide.
Tornado, unbelievable. Just northeast of town here, major tornado doing major damage. It took out several structures, demolished several structures. I saw roofs, I saw telephone poles. I've seen everything in the air as it just crossed about a quarter of a mile north of me. And again, still on the ground, still violently
Still
rotating.
just as violent. The change in the air that the storm brought in weakened the tornado's wide base while still keeping its wind speed.
It's big, and again, we're up on it right now. It's to the northeast of Newcastle, about 3 miles.
Okay, David Payne. We have Steve Carano. Steve Carano, go ahead. Steve, you are live.
I am south. It's north and east of Newcastle right now. North and east of Newcastle, and it's a multi-vortex.
As the tornado crossed over the highway into the field, it would quickly regain its size after crossing the Canadian River. It picked up mud and water that surrounded its massive wind field.
I would put it around the Moore vicinity and 4th Street exit, probably. That's in the vicinity.
Yes.
So folks live over there, and you really need to take
We are
care.
conference with David Payne now. David, go ahead.
Okay, Mike, I'm on a southwest 149th, just north of the river, and an F3, F4 tornado. I just had to back out. I was too close. I have to admit, I had to back out a little bit. Got a little scared there for a second. Again, it's crossing southwest 149th right now. Oh my gosh, I've got a huge roof in the air. I've got a home roof in the air. I've got winds now to 100. In my position to 110 miles an hour. The tornado is directly over southwest 149th, and it's a half-mile wide, and it's an F4 tornado. Winds in excess of 200, maybe 240 miles an hour.
Okay.
If you can hear the wind, I'll roll the window down, and you can hear the wind here. You can hear the rushing water sound, the roar, if you would.
Val. Sirens are going off in more.
I guess I'll just follow everybody else.
Take your immediate tornado precautions. Now, I could do a storm projection, but the easiest thing to tell you, it's moving from Newcastle to Moore, and you don't have a lot of time. For you children that are home alone, let me talk to you for just a second. If you have a cellar basement, that's best, but if you don't have that, get as many pillows and blankets as you can. Get in the bathtub, get between the stool and the wall, and pack yourself in there and stay there till this thing blows over.
As the tornado grew to 1 mile wide again, it was heading straight for the heavily populated town of Moore.
We watched it all on television. The destruction was unbelievable. And as you know, it tore a swath right through Moore and then went across over by just north of Tinker and across Midwest City. And it was absolutely amazing. I mean, we got out of there in time. We weren't in it at all. But then afterward, OG&E had crews working down there because obviously massive power outages, lines down, transformers gone. So we had crews working down there for weeks. And we'd send food and beverage and stuff down there to them. They were working not 24 hours a day, but close to it. It was just, the destruction was unbelievable.
The storm had demolished nearly everything in its path as it tore through East Lake Estates and County Place, barely grazing Westmore High School, where hundreds of people had taken shelter. Among those who chose to remain in their homes were David Henry and his wife Sandy.
We had an employee working at the company. He actually worked in our IT department. And he lived down there in Moore. And so he got home. His wife was there in the house. He got home, and they didn't have a storm shelter. They were trying to figure out what to do, so they both went and got in the bathtub, and he pulled a mattress over them. And that tornado, when it came across, picked up a pickup truck and dumped it right on their house. And it crushed him. He's laying in the bathtub on top of her. It crushed him. He died. She was alive, but rescuers had to dig through and find her underneath all of that.
When the couple married in the 1980s, David vowed to love and protect her until death do us part. In the final moments of his life, he fulfilled that promise. Sandy was rescued from the debris with only minor bruises, physically unharmed but forever changed. The pickup truck had been registered to a man in Chickasha, nearly 20 miles away.
935 down to South 4th Street and more. Get out of your car right now. Get out of your car right now. Don't wait till you see it.
As the tornado left the neighborhood, it continued tracking northeast towards the Emerald Springs apartment complex. Most multi-story buildings can hold their own against extremely violent winds, but this would not be the case. The entire complex was leveled, leaving only a few walls standing.
Let's go back to our live. Let's go to South Oklahoma City ground shot, South 89th and I-35.
Mike, there you can see it on the ground.
That's a
very
horrific
dangerous
sight.
situation. Our worst fears really are realized.
Yes.
A major tornado on the ground in a major metropolitan area. Dangerous situation. Not since June 13th
You can hear
that we
it.
see.
You can hear it
often
from South
hear.
89th Street.
Let's be quiet for just a second. We'll see if we can hear that.
You can hear the roar. You can hear the tornado from 89th Street. You can hear the roar.
Again, those listening on radio, you are going to be occasionally experiencing some power outages because these storms are moving into the metro area. We're going to have
Let's stay with
occasionally
that
some
shot. Look at the debris. Look at all the debris. Look at all the debris in the air. Folks, please, we plead with you. You absolutely have got to get down. Get to the lowest level you possibly can. We plead with you, do not take the extra minute or two. We plead with you to get below ground, get in the interior closet or bathroom, get in the bathtub. We plead with you. There it is, crossing Interstate 35. There is a tremendous...
But it wasn't done yet. Directly in its path was a newly built subdivision of homes that would be reduced to rubble, like everything before. And directly after that, another neighborhood will be swept away.
Folks, we plead with you, just go to your safe spot if you possibly can. That's an F. Look at the horizontal vortex. That is an F4 to an F5 tornado. That's winds of 250 miles an hour. Oh my gosh. This will go south of our live camera. This will go south of our live camera.
Okay.
I think they can probably stay up and be safe. It's going to go to their south and to their east. Folks, if you live along South 89th Street, and it's in Northmore right now, if you live on South 89th Street over to Lake Stanley Draper and Tinker Air Force Base, folks, it's headed your way, and it could easily be an F5 tornado. We plead with you, do not take this lightly. The GM plant is not safe.
No,
GM plant is in the direct path of this.
If you're working out in the General Motors plant, take the immediate tornado precautions.
Evacuate the plant right now. Go to your designated tornado safety area at the GM plant right now. Do not Tinker Air Force Base as well. Tinker and GM both are in the direct path.
Tinker has been evacuated.
We have Tammy Payne at Tinker Air Force.
It's starting to get stifling up here. We're moving out, but there's significant gas leaks somewhere around here, Mike. It's just we're going to have to probably fly out of here in a minute.
There's so much debris down there, folks.
As the tornado neared Interstate 35, Than Pham and his wife, Tram Thu Bui, spotted the tornado early and attempted to speed south to escape its path. Their progress came to a sudden stop when they encountered abandoned vehicles scattered across the roadway. Drivers had fled on foot, leaving their cars behind. Realizing they had no choice, Than jumped out, grabbed their two children, and sprinted toward a nearby overpass. Bowie reached it first, struggling to climb the slick concrete now coated with mud and debris as the tornado closed in around them. Than quickly realized he would not make it to the shelter in time. He carried the children to the edge of the road, set them down, and wrapped his legs around the guardrail post in a final attempt to anchor himself against the oncoming winds. As the tornado engulfed them, Than and Bowie locked eyes for a fleeting moment. One final glance, and within a blink, his wife was gone.
Behind will track along the same boundary that was left down by the first one. So there's a possibility a new tornadic cell could be coming into the metro. You folks in northern Grady County, of course, extremely serious tornado warning. Jim Gardner, live in Chopper 4. Also Jeff, one of our forewarned storm trackers, in.
The tornado continued once again and was heading towards a trailer park, but turned more north and hit an industrial building.
There's significant gas leak somewhere around here, Mike. It's just we're going to have to probably fly out of here in a minute.
There's so much debris down there, folks that are traveling down there. You will probably get a flat tire. So, and that should be the least of your concerns. But you do not want to be down there at all. You stand to get flat tires and everything else. You need to let the emergency crews do their jobs down in Midwest City, Tinker Air Force Base, Moore, and Newcastle. This is a terrible situation.
Another tornado warning just issued. We talk about the storms in northwest Oklahoma. We've been talking about
one of the things I remember on the news that stood out to me was they had, after the tornado went through, they put a helicopter up, one of their news helicopters. I don't remember which station, but they were following the track. And when they got to Moore, there was an area in Moore where you could see houses on both sides of the track, and in the middle, it was a neighborhood of houses that it went through, and there was absolutely nothing there but slabs. Everything was gone.
With this tornado being on the ground for over an hour, it seemed as though it was never going to lift. As it skated along west of Tinker Air Force Base, it began to lift after passing through one more neighborhood.
It still is part of the circulation. It appears to have weakened, though. It appears to have weakened.
It does.
But, we still have transformers. There's still a significant amount of lightning and wind involved in this. But it appears that it has weakened a little bit, Mike, which is, thank God. It's just incredible.
It is still kind of pulling more to the left, which...
Mike, it appears to have fallen apart now, right here. I'm looking
just
at
southwest of Nakoma Park is where it is right now. If it's,
okay,
that's our signature.
Right now we can't see it. It appears to have weakened significantly.
After being on the ground for approximately an hour and 25 minutes, it traveled 38 miles and killed 36 people and injured 583. The Doppler radar read winds of 321 miles per hour on the outside, but inside the vortex could be even faster as it was a mile wide. An estimate of 8,132 homes were damaged or destroyed, costing an estimated $1.2 billion in damage, making it the first tornado in history to exceed $1 billion in estimated damage.
Jim Gardner's chopper shot. David, go ahead. David,
okay, Mike, yeah, we're southeast. Mike, we're north here and just east of Bryant. And folks can think back what Mount St. Helens looked like with all the trees bent over, nothing left. That's pretty much what it looks like here. Not a house standing here for about a half-mile wide. We were the first ones on the scene behind the tornado. As it was coming down 44th, it crossed in front of us. We stopped. We pulled up, and nobody was around. People started coming out. People started screaming for help. They saw our truck. They were screaming for help. And, of course, that's when the chase ends. So we jumped out. We ran over, tried to help people as much as we can. I'm just trying to comfort people. I worked with a lady that was trying to comfort a lady that had a broken leg, a compound fracture. A gentleman kept complaining of heart problems. He was having a heart attack. They just now loaded him in the back of the pickup. And what's amazing is that people need to keep in mind we don't need people down here. It's getting very, very busy. They're going to shut this off, but there are good-hearted Samaritan Oklahomans that are pulling through, loading people in the back of their pickups and taking them to the hospitals because there are no rescue units here right now. This is all volunteer police officers, volunteer firemen here with us now. And yeah, and again, like I said, they're taking all the injury out. People are loading people that are severely injured in their cars. There's still people missing. They're still wandering through trying to find people. There's not a house left where I'm looking, and I'm standing in ground zero where the tornado came right through here. There's not
the
one
pictures
house.
we're showing on the air is this neighborhood that is located very near Tinker Air Force Base, and Jim Gardner is providing us these pictures. Jim, can you be specific? Can you see some reference roads that we can tell folks exactly what neighborhood this may have been?
We're going to probably lose a signal here in a minute. We believe we got somebody flashing a flashlight that is trapped in this rubble right here. Dan, they've been flashing a flashlight at us. We're going to drop low. You're probably going to lose our signal. We're going to see if somebody's trapped here because they've been trying to get our attention here, so we may be off the air just for a minute.
Most people who made it here are feeling lucky. They survived. Others will be fighting for their lives throughout the night. People like this woman. A board speared her head. Complete strangers brought her here.
In the days following the May 3rd, 1999 tornado, Moore faced catastrophic destruction. Thousands of homes were reduced to slabs. Schools and businesses were leveled, and entire neighborhoods were unrecognizable.
Not knowing.
There's somebody already down left in there.
No, it's this one.
These folks,
She doesn't even know.
look like they know which house is theirs.
Denise Clayton Camp. Denise! Denise! Clayton!
Emergency crews from Moore and Oklahoma City began rescue operations within minutes, soon reinforced by statewide fire departments, police agencies, EMS units, and hundreds of volunteers who searched debris by hand.
Anybody here? Denise!
I had been promoted to driver about a year before that, and I know I responded from the station that I got moved to after I got promoted, which was Station 27, which is kind of an outlying station. But myself and two other guys I worked with had been in the youth urban search and rescue training that our department was really developing it a lot at that time, and so we just I just remember we got dispatched from our station to the command post in whatever area of Moore we were at, and we spent all day there at least, just doing search operations. So I was assigned to, myself and the rest of my crew, we were assigned to search through a demolished area. It was everywhere we were assigned was like residential homes. So the risk of collapse wasn't huge because everything was already pretty much leveled. Like when we did the Murrah building, you're having to go in there and shore things up, and I remember they had a big cable going across a slab of concrete that you looked up, and if that breaks, it's going to be quick. I mean, so construction-wise, it wasn't that bad. I mean, you had to be careful, but there wasn't like a 5-story structure that part of it had collapsed and you're having to stabilize the whole thing before you go in. You're basically looking through anywhere you can get in, any voids, anything, to search under, collapsed wood frame structures to look for victims. From what I remember, I think I was only there 1 or 2, maybe 12-hour shifts. So it wasn't like I can remember going down to the Murrah building like several days, day after day, of working 12-hour shifts or whatever. But there at that one, I think I was only there for maybe 2 full days, best I can remember. Like I said, they all kind of mashed together after a while. We pretty much did search. We'd go to find a structure and mark off that we'd searched it and found nothing. And we had a canine out there that hit on a couple of places that we kind of double-checked those just to make sure. But yeah, I just did search work, and I didn't recover or save anybody that day or anything. So.
The National Guard was deployed to secure neighborhoods and assist in rescue efforts and control access to the disaster zone, while FEMA teams arrived to assess damage and begin federal assistance.
Private cars, they are coming in, being carried in by family members. It's just unbelievable what we've seen tonight.
President Bill Clinton signed a major disaster declaration for 11 counties in Oklahoma and declared parts of Oklahoma a federal disaster area. He visited the devastation in person and promised that federal resources would remain available for as long as needed.
This is
the most devastating tornado I have ever seen. I have never seen so much complete destruction of homes over so wide an area. And of course, you know that at least for a couple of communities, the measurement of the tornado was virtually off the charts.
Changing weather. Someday we will foresee obstacles through the blizzard, through the blizzard. Today we will sell our uniform, live together.
With entire neighborhoods flattened, roads clogged with debris, and emergency crews directing survivors towards safer areas, many people had no choice but to travel on foot across open fields and around damaged property lines. In several areas, large groups of residents moved together towards shelters or pickup points set by first responders. More responded with the resilience that would come to define the city. Neighbors became rescuers, first responders worked through the night, and volunteers from across Oklahoma poured in to help rebuild what had been lost. In the years that followed, the community didn't just recover, it transformed. Moore strengthened its emergency systems, adopted some of the nation's most rigorous residential building codes, expanded public shelters, and rebuilt neighborhoods with greater awareness and preparedness for severe weather. Out of unimaginable destruction grew a city more unified, more resilient, and more determined than ever to protect its people.
Through the blizzard.